looking over my rental agreement. I'm currently in the process of moving to a new apartment with a roommate because living alone is expensive. Because I'm moving in with a roommate who has already been living there for a while, I only had to sign a roommate addendum to move in, rather than the whole lease. But this is my 4th apartment since graduating college, so I asked to read the entire lease before signing anything. And it was a doozy. Rental agreements, also known as leases, can be ridiculously scary and overwhelming for first-timers. So much so that many people will just click the "I agree to the terms and conditions" button without actually reading anything first. And this was the case with the apartment I'm moving into, because some leases say that the property manager will do the absolute minimum required by law for you, and you'll have to jump through a ton of hoops to stay on the lease. But if you read the lease and understand the language, it'll give you a much clearer idea of what's expected of you and what you can expect from your property manager. So let's go through a few of the most important items on the lease. Number 1, address, names, and dates. Now the lease should have your name on it, it should have the address of the property, and it should have the date that you're going to move in. Make sure that all of this is correct before signing anything. At the apartment I'm moving into, they actually put the wrong zip code on the lease, so I had to correct that before signing. Number 2, rent and deposit. Now you should know the rent and security deposit going in, but just in case, it's listed there. The rent is generally paid on a monthly basis, and it cannot change until the end of your lease, which can be anywhere from 6 months to 18 months. After that time, the property manager has the right to raise your rent at any time, unless you sign a new lease. My current place raised the rent at about 4% a year, but some places will really jack them up, so you gotta be careful when your time is up. This section will also explain when the rent is due, how you can pay it, when it's considered overdue, and what the fine would be if you pay past due. My next place actually gives you a 3-day grace period. If you don't pay the rent on the 1st, or the 2nd, or the 3rd, then you get fined. Now the security deposit is a refundable deposit that you put down on the apartment in case you damage anything while living there. It's generally used after you move out to clean the carpets and repaint the walls, so you may not receive all of it back depending on your property manager. The amount should never be greater than your monthly rent. If it is, be very wary of that apartment. Legit property managers aren't going to overcharge you on that security deposit. Number 3, termination of lease. The lease must state exactly how long it applies, how much notice you must give if you move out, and how much notice the property manager must give you if you need to move out. Generally, there's a pretty large fee for moving out before your lease is up, so make sure you read through that and understand it before signing. This section also says that if you break any rules in the lease, it will be automatically terminated, which means it won't apply anymore. Number 4, CoSigners. Sometimes, especially with your first apartment, you may not have enough history and/or credit to rent an apartment. So in those cases, you can get a cosigner, generally a parent or guardian, to sign the lease with you as a guarantor. They're basically there to make sure that the rent gets paid every month because the property managers don't have enough info on you to be sure that you will. If you have a cosigner, they'll have to sign all the same paperwork as you do, probably an additional piece of paperwork to say that they're the cosigner, but you'll be responsible for paying the rent, making sure that the place is taken care of, and obviously you'll be the one living there. And then there's a few other things. The lease might also talk about stuff like water beds, fish tanks, smoke detectors, rental insurance, and a bunch of other stuff. Just make sure that you read through and understand it all, and if you don't, ask questions. I don't think I've ever signed a lease without asking like 5 questions beforehand. So I know that was a lot of information, so if you have any further questions, pop them down in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more information about life, and go ahead and comment on any other content that you want to see on this channel. Stay classy, y'all.